So, did you know that over 90% of term life insurance policies never pay out? Yep, and that's right. That's because most policies either lapse or expire without being converted. Okay. And so you definitely don't want to let that happen. But if it should happen, okay, what happens next could drastically impact your financial future. Okay. And so I'm going to go over in this video what are your options that you need to consider when you are purchasing term life insurance? Okay. And so, if you are new to me or to the channel, I am Katrice, the practical insurance agent, and I'm a licensed health and life insurance broker. And on this channel, I teach entrepreneurial women how to use insurance to increase their wealth, also financial literacy, retirement, and estate planning. And you'll also get some mindset and financial astrology sprinkled in. So if that's your vibe, welcome to the tribe. And as you are watching this video, if you are being enriched by the content, please do give it a thumbs up. And if you also like it and you want to stay around, then subscribe, okay? And so with that being said, let's get into it. So tonight I'm talking about term life insurance, okay? Um, what it is, what happens when it expires, and why it's crucial for you to plan ahead so that you don't find yourself without coverage when you need it the most, okay? So, first off, term life insurance is life insurance that lasts for a specific term, okay? So that can be anywhere from 10 up to 30 years, okay? And so most of the time when you purchase term insurance, it is normally when you're younger, when you're just starting out, you may be just starting your career, or you might be just starting your family. And so you want to make sure you have some protection in place to replace your income and so that your family's lifestyle can continue on as it was, should something happen to you and you die. Okay. And so, that is that is the main reason why people buy term insurance. Okay, and another main reason is because it is a lot cheaper than permanent life insurance or whole life. Whole life is permanent life insurance, meaning that it is life insurance for your entire life. Okay. Now, another thing about term is that makes it so much cheaper is that it does not accumulate any cash value. Okay. So you have the term insurance and it say you buy a $200,000 policy. If you die before the term ends, then you get $200,000. Okay. There's no cash benefit, cash um what is cash value that you can tap into. Okay. All right, so what happens if you were to outlive the policy? Okay. Well, the thought behind term insurance was that you purchase the insurance to cover you while you're raising a family and you're building your career and you're building up your savings. And then once you have you know built up your savings and everything, then when the policy expires, you would no longer need it because you have other things, other assets and things and savings in place in order um, to cover your expenses, right? But we all know that is not always a reality for everybody, okay? And so there's a couple of things that you can do when you purchase term insurance that that you need to consider when you're purchasing term insurance, okay? So the first thing is into you can convert term insurance into a permanent policy, so whole life or universal. Okay. Now, this must be done at the time of purchase. So when you purchase the term, you must decide then if you're going to want to let it expire or if you're going to want to convert it over to whole life insurance. Okay. Um, Now, the reason you want to do this is because one, you won't have to show proof of insurability again. Okay. You will only have to do that once when you purchase the term. Okay, and your premium rates will not increase because it is at the current age that you are when you purchase the term and not the age that you will be when the whole life policy starts. Okay. So that's a really big thing because the older you get, the more insurance premiums go up. Okay, and it doesn't matter whether it's term or whole life. Okay. And so you want to get, if you know you're going to want to keep the life insurance throughout your entire life, you can start with term and decide that you're going to convert it once that term is over. And then you'll kind of be what's called locked in at the rate that at the age you are now versus when the term expires 20, 30 years later and you're older and you could have health issues. Okay. Now, um, when the second thing that you can do is you can renew the term. Okay. Now, again, this must be written in at the time of purchase. Okay. And you won't have to show um, insurability, but the rate will be higher due to age. Okay. And so you once the term expires, then you can. Now, what you can do, what some people do is they will like if they purchase uh say like a 10 or 15-year term, halfway through they may go in and purchase another policy. Um, especially if they're still in good health. They'll go in and they'll purchase another policy. Um, but that could be for different reasons. They may like the first one may have been just to cover them in case they died, and then they might have bought a house a few years later, and so then they'll go in and then they'll want to buy another term to cover for them. If something happens, they'll have the term for the house. So that's something that you can do as well. Okay, that is also an option, um, which kind of rolls into the third option, which is to just apply for a completely new policy, okay, which is what I was just explaining. Now, this can be anything, okay, it doesn't have to be term, it can be whole life, it can be universal life. Okay, you will have to medically qualify for this policy. Um, and you will be applying for it at your current age. Okay, so if you were 20, 25 when you took out the first policy, and then 10 years later, then you'll be 35. And so the rate will be based upon you being 35 and not 25. Okay. Um, Now, this is also a good time to adjust the face value depending upon where you are in life. And that's what I was just saying. I kind of went ahead and jumped ahead. But if you may have just gotten a 10-year, 15-year term just when you were first starting out, just to make sure you had something. And then, 10 years later, by this point, you've got married, you purchased a house, you got kids, you starting to accumulate and build. Then you'll want to go in and you want to get something larger to cover your assets to make sure that your family is going to be financially protected. Okay. And then the fourth option is to just let the policy expire and go without life insurance. Okay. Now, this is not one that I recommend unless, you only use the term just to make sure to cover you while you were building your life and your assets and things. And so you have substantial, investments and savings and all of that, that will be able to cover your final expenses, your final debts, and everything, and your family will still be okay. And then you can just let it go. You don't have to have life insurance. Okay, life insurance is just a tool of protection that is available to use to protect your income should your family's income, you know, should something happen to you or when something happens to you. Not should, should it happen early or if you be old. Either way, it's just to, a way to pass on wealth to your family. Okay. Now, if you're just gonna let this go, you are accepting the risk of dying without coverage, meaning that you have other things in place, to take care of that. Now, one thing that I do advise all of my clients and anybody who is purchasing term is to add the return of premium rider. Okay, the return of premium rider to your term so that if you outlive the policy, you will get all of um the premiums that you paid. You will get all of that back to you when the policy expires. Okay. Um, Now I want to go over just a few terms, just so that you'll understand them. So when I say renewal, um, that means that the policy is getting ready to end, and so you're going to want to get more coverage, and so it'll be at a renewal rate. Okay. um and so you'll renew the policy, but it'll be at a higher rate. Okay, because it'll be off of your age and health at the time. Conversion, this has to be done at the beginning. If the policy includes a conversion feature, you can switch it to permanent life insurance without a medical exam at the end of the policy. But you have to let the agent know when you are working with them that you want a policy where it can convert. So you're going to get term because it's cheaper now, but in the future you want it to convert over so that they will quote you a conversion policy and not just a term policy. Okay, not just a term with no conversion. Okay. And then new coverage is just what it is. You're shopping for a new policy and it's new coverage. It'll be just like you got getting a policy and it's based on your weight and your health. Your height, your weight, your health, and your age. Okay. All right. And so the bottom line is if your term policy expires and you don't take any action, you will be without coverage. Okay. And it will cost more to um to regain coverage later. Okay. So this is why it is very important for you to do policy reviews. Whenever you purchase life insurance, whomever you purchase it from, you should be doing policy reviews with them if you purchased it with an agent, such as myself. Okay. Now, if you just went online and purchased, you may forget about it, which is why I recommend that people work with an agent because when you're working with an agent, the agent will contact you every few years or so and be like, "Hey, how are you doing? It's time for a policy review." Okay, and I'm sure you probably will hear from them, within the time, but it's better to work with the agent because they're going to be the one servicing your policy, and so they will be able to remind you of policy reviews and any updates that may come about with the policy. They will be able to inform you of that. And so that's one less thing that you have to worry about. And you're still getting it taken care of. It's just not something that you have to keep on top of mind because you have the agent to be able to do that for you. Okay. Reviews are very important. You want to do them, I would say, every 2 to 3 years if you have not had a significant life event. But if you have had a significant life event, such as getting married, getting divorced, having children, um, the sale of a house, the purchase of a house, the purchase of a vehicle, then you definitely want to make sure that your coverage is up to date so that if something happens to you, you have enough coverage in place that could take care of any debts that you have so that your family is not um, in financial strain, okay, after the loss of you and your income, okay? And so that is what I have for, let me make sure because I have my notes here. Um, okay. Yep. So that is what I had for tonight. It was kind of short tonight. Now, they're normally a little longer. I'm saying I want to stay in. Darn. Normally a little longer, but that's what I had for tonight. I wanted to get this out because I've had, quite a few people ask me, clients as well as I've just had, people in online ask, I've seen the question, what happens when your term expires? So now you know what happens, all right? So if you found value in this, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Subscribe to the channel so that you can stay updated when I go live, when I post new content. And check out the community tab. The community tab, I post, I'm going to be putting a lot of information, a lot of educational information and things on the community tab. So please do check out the community tab, do little polls and quizzes and things like that, financial literacy stuff. Um, this is all information that when it comes to your finances, you need to know all of this stuff, right? Because you want to make sure that you are protecting and securing your finances. If you are really wanting to build generational wealth, if you are wanting to keep more money in your pocket and not pay so much out in taxes, then this information is key for you knowing how to navigate the system. Okay. So definitely subscribe and put on the notification, click the notification bell. Okay. Now, if you already have life insurance, and you would like to do a policy review, or if you don't have life insurance and you need to purchase some life insurance, then you can definitely book a consultation with me. In the description of this live video, I have my appointment calendar, so you can go there. You can book an appointment with me. And if you are wanting to get more information about how to calculate how much life insurance you would need, I do have a free ebook that goes over the exact process of how to do that. And it is in the description of this live video. Okay. And so that's what I have. If you have any questions, you can definitely put them in the chat. And I hope that this live video was insightful, that it was helpful, and that you got some useful information out of it. And if you did, please do share it out with others so that they can find value in it as well. Okay? And so until next time, remember, nobody is coming to save you. And so you have to make sure that you save yourself. All right? Have a good one.